Yes.
I have it on good authority that you're going to be directing an episode this season.
This is right. Yes, this is my breaking news that I'm going to be directing for episode 419, and it's my first time directing on American television. I'm very excited about it, and it's a process that has already kind of illuminated my whole idea of the business. It's been fantastic to kind of do a whole prep work and speak to the props guys, location guys. It's a whole other way of looking at the business, and it's been really exciting. So I'm very excited about it.
So how do you think this is going to compare to directing you've done in the past?
Well, thank you. It's obviously going to be a lot more action, some special effects, some stunts. It's going to be cool. I'm really very excited about it. As you can see, it's like I can get all the tools out of the toy box and see what I can do with it. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. Really awesome.
Pretty cool. So now your character has moved out into the general world to understand humanity better. Are we going to actually see J'onn J'onzz as a detective?
You may do. He's very much living amongst the people as he promised his father, but I think he's also struggling with the idea of being a pacifist. I mean, his father was determined for him to live a life of peace, but it's difficult to step back when you see people being attacked or you see people being beaten. His natural instinct is to be the Martian Manhunter. So that's going forward. I think that's going to be his struggle for the season, is whether or not he can remain a pacifist, or whether he has to step up and start punching people.
So this past season, you got to work with one of the previous actors who has portrayed the character you're portraying.
Absolutely.
How exciting was that for you?
Awesome. I mean, Carl Lumbly is just... it's just a wonderful actor. Not only is he a wonderful actor, he's just a wonderful human being, and we got on really well. Really enjoyed my scenes working with him, and knowing that he was the actual voice of J'onn J'onzz in many of the comics, especially because when I was researching the character, I was watching a lot of those comics, and to kind of hear his voice, I was like, oh my god, I've heard your voice before. So it was pretty cool. And I think in between scenes we'd sort of have a Jones off, where we kind of sit there and talk about various powers that the Martian Manhunter has, and it was just great talking to somebody who has just as much knowledge of the character as I did. So it was awesome to work with.
We look forward to family.
You made it.
You got the runaround.
Sorry, can you ask that question again?
Can we look forward to more family moments between the Danvers sisters and J'onn?
Oh yes, there's some really tender stuff going on, and I don't think we're ever going to move away from that. I think the fact is that Alex and Kara very much represent his own daughters, and it would be a shame if we ever moved away from that. But he's very comfortable in that role as the father, and I seem to have adopted the moniker Space Dad. I am the father of the entire universe, which is kind of cool. So I accept my moniker.
And there's a second Melissa running around now.
A second Melissa?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell us about?
We don't even know. We haven't really got the scripts, and we know that it's a cool idea. We don't know when she arrives or how she's going to impact the show, but the scripts are really good this year. The scripts are very different. I think the audiences are going to be quite surprised by what we're doing this year. It's very different, and hopefully they respond positively. But it's not something we've seen before on the show.
To piggyback a little off of his question, now that you're no longer working with the Danvers sisters, how does that, your character, not you, how does that affect your character's relationship with them?
I don't think he'll ever truly kind of leave them, and I mean, that he's always got half an eye on them and wants to make sure that they're always safe. So he'll always check in, and when I did a scene the other day in the DEO, first time back in the DEO, where I was actually in my civvies. I was actually in my normal clothes, which was bizarre because I've only ever been in my DEO outfit when I'm in the DEO. So it was a little odd being in jeans and a t-shirt in the DEO as Hank, but as Jean. Right?
You must have a whole wardrobe.
I have an entire new wardrobe. I kind of like it. I've just literally been in those black fatigues for like 3 years, so it's time for me to kind of bust out the old the wardrobe. So John's got some nice garms.
And I assume Alex is still going to be coming to John for advice on how to run the DEO. Are there any touching moments of advice that you're going to be seeing?
I don't know about advice, but I think she's doing a fine job all by herself, but she certainly has, right off the bat, there's some extremely challenging moments that she has. And she kind of rises to the top. But I think this year there's going to be some interesting new characters arriving. So watch this space in terms of the DEO.
Anything you can tease?
No.
Yeah, we don't want to get you fired.
We're not allowed to tease it, but it's going to be really interesting. Honestly, the scripts are great, and it'll be interesting to see how the audience respond to it.
One thing that they've released to us is that they're introducing a transgender superhero.
That's right. Yes.
How exciting is that to be on the forefront of this progressive movement?
Well, the show's always been progressive, and I think it's just really exciting that we continue to kind of push limits and continue to introduce not just a range of diversity, like myself and McCart, but and also obviously having Supergirl as our lead, but now to be stepping into the transgender community and pushing them out into the forefront. I think it's just great and very, very exciting, and hopefully brings a great new audience. And she's great. Do you guys know who it is?
Yes.
She's fantastic, and just been reading a little bit about her on social media, and just looked at her resume and the articles that she's done and the things that she said. She's a force, So it's just really exciting to be working with someone like, am I allowed to say her name? Do you guys know her name?
Yeah.
I'm really excited to work with Nicole. I think she's just fantastic. And now I can say it. Really, really excited to work with her. I think she's going to be a huge addition to the show, and I can't wait to work with her. It's going to be really exciting.
You know what? For those of us, not us, but the people at home that will see this later, Nicole, who is she playing?
She plays a character called Nia Nal.
Okay.
Am I supposed to say this?
They're going to announce it at the panel.
That's embargoed until 4.
Yeah.
So.
It'll be after the panel.
Great. Yeah, she hopefully, I think she's going to be at the panel. So hopefully, she's really awesome. But she plays a character who initially works for James Olsen, and she has strange. I didn't know she was a superhero, so that's going to be very exciting that when she busts out that superhero costume. So it's just really exciting times. We've got a great show, great product, and some really interesting characters. You were going to ask a question?
I was going to ask, do you remember what the first line that your character has this new season is?
Yes, I do actually. Yes, I'm actually on the phone to Alex. Yeah, that's not right. First line, because we're actually shooting out of sequence right now. So I haven't actually said my first line yet, so I haven't read it yet. So we're doing 3 and 4, and then we'll do 1 and 2, which is a little bit bizarre. But it's good. The scripts are great. The scripts are really interesting. I'm really excited to see what people think of it.
Production a little. You alluded that you're doing that different because she's not on set.
Yeah, we don't have a lead. She's such a great energy and a fantastic focus for the whole production. It just seems a little odd that she's not around. And also, we don't have Jeremy and we don't have Chris Wood this year, so it feels like a very different show and feels like a very different. I mean, obviously we've got a great family. But it just feels like it's a different energy. So we're looking forward to our boss coming home. I think that's it, right, guys? Happy?
Well, we're going to talk about. Let's talk about comics. What Martian Manhunter comics have appealed to you?
The Tom Mandrake and what was he? And is it Olias? Oh, I can't remember the guy's name. But actually, Tom Mandrake, I followed him on Instagram, and then because I read Tom Mandrake's Martian Manhunter comics, like literally cover to cover. I read all of them when I got the job. So to kind of start following him was kind of cool. And then just a couple of weeks ago, he actually drew my Martian Manhunter with his Martian Manhunter, which was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I was very proud of that. Yeah.
Do you see any transformations into any other classic versions?
I hope so. I think this is an interesting season because he's not necessarily in the DEO. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does and where you never see where he lives, you never see where he sleeps. So it's going to be interesting to see Jean cooking and just doing domestic things. So, sitting at home watching TV, yes, exactly.
Are we going to see him eat Oreos or Chacos?
I did in the very first season.
Yes.
And I got so sick of them, I nearly was sick. And then they cut it. So hopefully I will try sneaking in some Oreos this season. It's worth going back to it.
Maybe some Mars bars?
Yeah, Mars bars. That's pretty cool. Yes. A little advertising like this going on.
So could you elaborate on the complexity of the situation in terms of you lost your father, it was a horrible situation in terms of just him losing his memory. Now you have all of the memories and you're the last.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
We'll see, yes.
Martian Manhunter, I'm going to say hugger because you're a pacifist now. Could you elaborate on the complexity of how that changes your character in terms of just having all of this information and connection and disconnect?
That's an interesting question. I think obviously he has a lot more. Trying to play him with a lot more depth. It's quite difficult because he's quite a deep guy anyway. But I guess struggling with the ideas of tradition and with what his father was talking about living peacefully. That's going to be a real struggle for John this season. How can you live according to your father's ideals when at some point you've got to kick some butt? So that's his challenge for this year. But hopefully we won't be seeing the last of Carl Lumbly because he's just so great. And there are plans afoot to kind of somehow make it possible that I can communicate with him from beyond because he's now a part of the Earth. So hopefully I can kind of call upon him to kind of when I'm most in need. Hopefully that'll be a reality.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys.
Move on down.
Yes.
From leaping tall buildings to going off like gamma bombs. Switch your internet browser to ComicsOnline.com.
Hi guys.
Do you want water?
Yes, please.
Hi, David.
How is everybody?
Doing well.
Everybody well? Hello. Hi guys. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm awake. Had a pretty boozy night last night.